Hey, YouTube.
YouTubers.
Oh my god. Hey, YouTubers. Okay, guys, what's up? That's MJ. I'm real. Mark, whatever you want to call me, whatever. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not Frost has a daddy. You know, a sugar daddy. Obviously...
Ew.
No, don't give me that. Don't give me that. No, okay, so we know that the survival arc is coming up. The universe survival arc is coming up. The Tournament of Power, whatever you want to call it, Omniversal Tournament. Universe 6 is going to need a strong team because and this is kind of hard to say, we don't necessarily know where Universe 6 kind of sits on the mortal level. We know it has nothing to really do with powers. We don't necessarily know how strong anyone other than those 5 people we saw in the last tournament are, but there is some speculation. I guess it depends on the fandom and part of the fandom you're talking about, whether or not the girl Broly is going to be part of Universe 6 at this point. I'm not necessarily sure they have stated that one way or the other, although, I mean, theoretically, she really should be. If she's a part of any other team, it's going to be weird, and they're going to need to do some sort of explaining. But when it comes to the other 4 slots, theoretically, the 4 slots, stuff that MJ and I have actually talked about before, whether they're going to be scrubs or not. But in terms of those 4 spots, I was thinking, shouldn't Frost theoretically have a dad that would probably be a good candidate to take up one of those 4 spots? MJ, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, we know in Universe 7, Frieza had a dad. I believe isn't it also mentioned that he had a mom, or no? I believe the manga mentioned it.
he says in the manga, he says parents, but it's stated in such a way in the Japanese language where it could mean parent.
Okay.
My
All right.
dad. I don't think he has a mom.
Okay, so it's just King Cold. Well, if Frost is supposed to be, I guess, in turn, the direct counterpart, or at least just the Universe 6's counterpart of Frieza, he should at least have somebody that gave birth to him, or at least the person that is, I guess, I don't know. There should be, I guess, a counterpart of King Cold. I'm assuming, because Universe 6 should have... they have Earth. They have Earth. They have, obviously, Magetta. We're supposed to have the Magetta race in Universe 7. Obviously, it's weird, bro. I mean, it makes me wonder if there's a Universe 6 version of Boo, it's a bit weird, but I do feel like there should be a version of King Cold in Universe 6, just due to the fact that Frost is there. However, though, people have always brought up the question, are they mutants? Is Frost a mutant? Because I believe that's mentioned in an interview, right? I can't remember if it's in a guidebook or interview, but King Cold and King Cold and Frieza are actually mutants. So
of a certain race.
Of a certain race.
Yeah.
This is actually a misconception. People think that their race is supposed to be really weak. That's not actually stated. It's just stated that King Cold and Frieza are exceptionally powerful compared to their race, but that doesn't necessarily mean their race is weak compared to humans or Namekians. It just means that Frieza was born with an exceptionally high power level compared to his race.
Yeah, he's a bit of a prodigy, as he says in the Dragon Ball Super movie and the anime. I believe in the manga as well. Yeah. But, an interesting thing about that, I believe in all 3 they do mention King Cold. I could be completely wrong about the manga, but I'm pretty sure in both the anime and the movie, when they bring Frieza back, they're like, well, maybe we should bring back King Cold too. But obviously King Cold would be a formidable ally to have in putting back this army and everything. And even when they bring back Frieza, he's like, did you bring back my father? He's like, well, we were going to, but then these people kind of stepped in and yada, yada, yada. So, and he's like, no, it doesn't matter. My dad's kind of a prick anyway. And so it's weird that, we've done this before. We've kind of speculated and been like, well, no, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't be that cheesy. They wouldn't be that corny to mention something as a joke and then make it completely serious later down the line with Trunks. At the end of the Fukkatsu no F arc, Goten and Trunks are sitting there, and Trunks is like, oh, I'm going to cut him in half next time I see him, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, what the hell? That's just so weird. He doesn't know about that, does he? And you're like, oh, well, that's a little fun little kind of nod to Future Trunks, but no way Future Trunks is coming into this arc at all. Yeah, no way. And then, no way, the series, and you're like, oh, well, the very next thing, one of the very next big announcements we get is, oh, Future Trunks is coming back. So the point is, at least a little bit, Toriyama himself, or at least Toei, if they put that in there, they haven't forgotten about him. They haven't forgotten that King Cold existed, and King Cold was a formidable opponent when it came to the earlier days of Dragon Ball Z. And when you're looking at the roster for Universe 7, I mean, you have a lot of people on that team that could just kind of wipe the floor with King Cold, but a lot of them really couldn't. And a lot of them can't compete with Universe 6 people anyway. And theoretically, like you're saying, with Frost and Frieza being basically Universe counterparts, you have, theoretically, Frost having a daddy that could basically be brought in and be a formidable opponent, a formidable fighter for Universe 6, and also someone that we know instantly, giving us a little bit more connection to Universe 6. Like, we've talked about it before. We've talked about it. You and I have talked about Namekians before. We've talked about the girl Broly before. This is just another one of those people they could bring in who's kind of part of that twin universe situation where you're like, you know what, I know who that person's kind of supposed to be, and I might have a little bit more feelings than if he was just kind of a jabroni who's just going to go in and get completely taken out super quickly. So, I mean, it's really up in the air about whether or not they're going to do it, but I feel like it's probably a smart move on their part.
Well, I mean, we've talked about how in this team they could introduce into these 4// scrubs that'll get taken off. A way to introduce a not so much of a scrub is to introduce like a Namekian, like how we talked about in a video on my channel, which we're going to plug, when Namekian show up, because that's a quick way to get to the audience. You know what I mean? That's a quick way to go, oh yeah, that's right, there's Universe 7 Namekians, and now there's a Namekian on the Universe 6 team. It makes sense. Okay, I'm automatically invested in this character, right? It's the same way with a counterpart to King Cold. Hey, we saw King Cold for a little bit in Dragon Ball Z, and he was mentioned in the Dragon Ball Z ROF movie, and he was mentioned in Dragon Ball Super a little bit ago, and a couple of arcs ago. So, okay, yeah, I'm automatically invested in this larger version of Frieza that's on this Universe 6 team, or that's accompanying this Frost character. You know what I mean? I'm automatically invested in him. You know what I mean? It's a quick way to actually introduce him. And plus, you also got to remember, I know this is not really a power scaling video, but you got to remember, Frost was competing with a Goku, or a base Goku, who's a lot stronger than a base Goku who fought Frieza on Namek. So, I mean, King Cold obviously was stronger than, base Goku on Namek, but this counterpart would obviously be stronger if we're saying that he would be comparable to Frost in Universe 6. That was my little theory. We talked about this before. If the whole universe ranking had to do with power levels, we theorized that Universe 6 is naturally stronger. But that's kind of out the window. It could still be true. Who knows? Because Universe 6 does seem to be naturally stronger for some absurd reason. We don't know why. But anyways, moving on. I just feel like bringing King Cold in, it just wouldn't make sense, and it would naturally, or not King Cold, but a counterpart to him, because it just logically makes sense. And why keep mentioning him? Like, it's one thing to do it in the movie, because you mean Toriyama had involvement. Like, he even wrote the F book, remember? So it makes sense for him to do it, but now Toei doing it in the arc and all that stuff. So it's like, why do they keep bringing him up and bringing this up? I think it would be a cool way to just bring him back, and hey, why not? I mean, it's a quick way to get the audience invested into a character, a quick way to not have to have so much development behind this one character, because that's what people say about Super, is that there's not this all this development and this lore behind these characters. Well, this is a quick way to just draw up a character and not have to put this huge backstory behind him, because there's already a certain backstory behind him. Oh, he's a he's just another counterpart of Frieza. There you go. You know what I mean? So,
no, I completely agree with that, and it's something that I would really personally like to see. I don't think they're going to do it, and here's why. Because I did the same thing with the Namekian video, and it kind of put up your own little theory. I would really like to hear yours if you have one, but if you don't, that's fine. Anyone in the comment section who has a theory about whether or not he's going to be there, why you think he's going to be there, why he's not going to be there, please leave that in the comment section below. But here's mine. it's not something they really have to explain, but if he's not in there, if he's not in the team, then I'm going to have my own little headcanon. Like you said, considering how much stronger Frost is comparatively to Frieza on the Namekian arc, and also base Goku in Dragon Ball Super, you have to think that maybe King Cold, or the counterpart to King Cold, is going to be that much stronger, someone who would be a formidable opponent, someone they would want on their team, so why not? Given the backstory that we got from Frost in the tournament arc, the one thing I think would be really kind of cool, and one of the things he probably would have done, given how much of a dick he is, given how much of a dick Frieza is when it comes to his parents and everything, absolutely no sympathy, no caring. If it is kind of a mirrored image when it comes to these particular characters, and considering the fact that King Cold theoretically started taking up planets and everything before Frieza was even born, and then Frieza basically took over that force or that kind of empire when he came of age because he was stronger, theoretically stronger than his father, and just running it himself, then I'm imagining, wouldn't it be cool, whether it's explained or not, I think it would be cool that Frost took out his father as a way to make himself more give himself more publicity to do the secret evil that he did.
That is really fucked up.
But he's a dick either way. He's a dick either way. So he kills his emperor father, and then that's why he became a hero who only fought for good in the wars and stuff, and got the universe or the galaxy or whatever to respect him the same way the Saiyans did and everything else, because he took out the quote unquote emperor and just secretly became his own emperor because it was more profitable. I think that would be kind of a cool backstory.
Man, I can already see it, dude. I can see like I don't know. Let's just call him Freezy. I can see Freezy like in his throne, and he's looking at this paperwork, and he throws it down. And he's like, "Who did this?" Right? and then like someone kicks down his door, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, father." And then it's Frost, right? And then like this whole army, and he's like, "How could you do this?" And then he's like, "He framed me. He's the evil one." And then Frost is like, "He's delusional. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And then everyone's like, "You guys look the same. Aren't you related?" He's like, "I don't know this fool." And it's just like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I can see that happening. That's a dick move.
That is a dick move. I think that would be kind of cool, considering, we talked about in the past, it'd be cool to see kind of OV specials or something, for these things. I would be really kind of cool to see a Frost special kind of like that, where it's just this family backstabbing, very kind of Shakespearean tale where, what if his father was good, he was the dick, and he made his father look to be, like you said, made his father look really kind of emperor-ish, dictator, yada yada, throughout, and killed him, and then kind of secretly took over doing stuff that was seemingly nice but not necessarily, and then yeah.
And it kind of starts the whole, it starts the Frost that we see in Super,
Yeah, exactly. So,
God damn, we should write this shit.
Toei, hire us.
Oh.
That would be cool. But honestly, guys, I want to know what y'all thoughts on that are. Do you think he's going to be in the tournament? Do you think he's not going to be in the tournament? If he's not going to be in the tournament, why do you think he's not going to be in the tournament? Because to me, it just makes logical sense. One of the things we've seen, and MJ was talking before we actually started recording this, was it's inconsistent the way they've kind of developed their universes, the way they kind of portrayed what Universe 6 and 7 are in terms of counterparts, and then seeing all these other universes being almost strikingly different. No real natural similarities between the gods or anything. So it's really up in the air whether or not they're going to do that, but just considering what we saw from the last tournament arc, there should theoretically be some kind of King Cold character in Universe 6 that would be a really good person to have for Universe 6 in order to win the tournament, or at least try to. We don't know whether they're going to win. We don't know who's going to win at this point, but I think that if they don't bring him on, they're leaving cards on the table, man.
Well, I mean, it's just the way they built all this up before we got into the Universe Survival arc. Before the Universe Survival arc and the introduction to all these gods, we were led to believe that, okay, there's an Earth in Universe 7, there's an Earth in Universe 6. Champa looks like Beerus, Vados looks like Whis, the Grand Priest looks like Vados and Whis, and then supposedly there's a Megiddo in Universe 7, there's a Megiddo in Universe 6, there's a Frieza in Universe 7, there's a Frost in Universe 6, there's Saiyans in Universe 6, Saiyans in Universe 7. For God's sakes, there's even a Planet Sadal in Universe 6. You know what I mean? Even Vegeta was like, y'all haven't left Planet Sadal. So, like, how is all this so exactly the same, yet there isn't a hit in Universe 7 and there isn't a Majin Buu in Universe 6? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, we don't know exactly what is in the counterpart and what it's not, so.
Yeah, and a lot of that could be Majin Buu's fault, but I mean, like, that's just up to speculation, really.
He killed a hit, just got his license. Yay! I'm about to be a part-time assassin. He turns around and just sees a big pink blast coming.
Death. Well, yeah, like, but the point is, like, yeah, a lot of it could be Buu's fault. But that's a really easy explain away for the entire series. I mean, they don't even have to take the time to explain it. It could just be like, yeah, it's, Buu just kind of fucked everything up for everyone. So it's really up in the air. But you're right. Like, from what we saw, Buu can't be responsible for that much of a difference. Maybe, yeah, like, why is there no hit? Why is there no Megiddo race or something? Like, yeah, okay, Buu and Buu, but is there a Frost? Or is there a King Cold? Like, maybe, but I mean, obviously King Cold did know about Buu, but if there's no Buu in Universe 6, then there's nothing to, like, if anything, it should make King Cold stronger, or the counterpart to King Cold stronger. So it's just, I don't know. It's something that we really don't know until they actually tell us, and the way that Dragon Ball is, they're probably never going to tell us.
I was going to say that maybe since Universe 6 is naturally stronger, maybe King Cold or Frost took out their Universe 6's counterpart of Majin Buu, but then wouldn't the Majin Buu Universe 6 be stronger then too? So it's like, who freaking knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really like, who knows? I mean, you did a versus video, but we're not going to keep plugging your videos in this. No, but anyway, guys, like we said, please make sure to tell us in the comment section below what your thoughts on this. Do you think Frost is or do you think Frost has a daddy? Do you think that his daddy will be call me daddy or something, whatever. Like, do you think his dad is going to be in terms, like, in the team of Universe 6? Do you think that MJ is weird? Do you think he's plugging too many videos? If not, and if you do think, or whether you do or do not think, please make sure to go check out MJ. He makes some really awesome content for you guys. Daily Dragon Ball content for anyone who's interested. Check him out. Anyway, guys, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share this out to all your friends, and we're going to catch you on the next video.